Welcome back to Alex Adams Values Ratchet Reviews. And I'm reviewing the Tea Podcast on ZEUS. And the last time I did not at the end of the podcast, which a lot of you guys didn't listen to because it probably was boring because Akbar V, it was kind of, just like a normal podcast. It wasn't, too much going on for me, so I didn't really care for it. But this one I forgot to mention who was coming on next, and it was Mama D. So if you don't know her, she is Scrappy's mom from Love and Hip Hop, I believe Atlanta. He might be on some other ones, but I think it's Atlanta. But so Mama D is his mom, and people should know her because she's like one of the mamas that is all in the business. And even Carlissa on here asked, am I worse than her? And they're like, no, Mama D is the worst, meaning as being in her son's business the most. And I do remember her because I used to watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta a lot, and I remember her being in her son's business a lot. But let me start off with the looks. Tia Kemp, I'm looking at her, and she looks like she has a little outfit on, like she was gonna go watch a tennis match or go, like a casual outfit, some sneakers on, white sneakers, cream color looking outfit. She looks nice. I like her hair and her makeup, and that's kind of the way I like the way that she's dressing. It's like cool and collective looking outfit. Her hair is like a light, like a honey brown, and pretty face as usual. Tokyo Toni actually looks pretty good, like she always does, but her wigs, I'm telling you, I'm not a wig aficionado. I don't do nothing with wigs. Weaves, I don't really know about it, but I'm still going to speak on it because I see what I see. I have eyeballs. Usually Tokyo Toni's wigs I don't like them. Maybe other people do. I do not. But this one is blonde, and it looks way better. And she still has a red lip, of course. Stationary, like it. And she has her red bottoms on. Stationary, of course. And she has a red jacket. Nice little outfit. Carlissa, all black, red jacket. Now with Carlissa, she's always going to be pretty. She's a very pretty woman. And her wigs or weave, whatever she's wearing, is hit or miss. She has black, and she has kind of like a blonde or something through it. I'd like for her to switch up the hair color a little bit. I'd like to maybe see a red or a blonde on her, maybe burgundy, but I know that ginger color was not for her. Okay, so that's the looks. And Mama D has all black on, and it's like Studio 64 thing going on, and she looks good. I mean, her body is done for her to be, I think she's 60 years old, she says. But she was actually interesting. And I watched the whole thing. I didn't really fast forward through it too much. She had a lot of interesting things to say. She said that I guess they were saying that she was a pimp and that she sold drugs and did a lot of things to help her kids growing up, and she said she did what she had to do, and a lot of them were like, oh no, you were being lazy, you had to do this, or you were being lazy and had to do that. And Tokyo Toni seemed like she was the only one that was understanding where she was coming from. And Mama D was like, no, if your kids were starving, you had to feed them, you're going to do what you're going to do as well. So Mama D looked like she was getting a little pissed off, and she was slamming down her cup, but then they kind of got past that a little bit. But they came to a little bit of understanding. So because Mama D looked like she was about to throw that cup. She was giving some side eyes right there. But like I said, she was very interesting the way that she was talking. And then they started talking about Scrappy and Bambi and Erica Mena. And I guess, there she goes slamming down the cup. But I guess Erica Mena and Scrappy are hanging out now. I got to catch up on my Love and Hip Hop. I haven't watched that in I don't know how long. I think I haven't watched it since like Bambi and Scrappy were first together. Oh man, it's been a long time. Oh, I gotta catch up. I've been watching baddies too long. I gotta catch up on my Love and Hip Hop, and I just now got into Now That's TV, and when I'm not doing schoolwork and other podcasts and stuff like that, I be watching my ratchets. I gotta catch up on some Love and Hip Hop and see what's going on. But from what I know is that Mama D hates all the baby's moms. She hates Bambi. She hates the wife that Scrappy was married to, but it seems like she's saying that she liked Erica. And she said because she's a lot like her, she said. So I got to see what's going on with that. But they were asking her questions. about sex and about a whole bunch of other stuff. And oh my goodness, Mama D is funny. I mean, she came off, I've seen her at Love and Hip Hop before, and I did not like her when I had first seen her before on Love and Hip Hop. But, maybe she's changed. Maybe things have gone on, like I said, I haven't watched it. So I guess she's maybe a hit or miss if you like her or not. But Tokyo Tony and her got along really well. You could see the respect in Tokyo Tony's eyes and the way that she was talking to her. And this podcast was actually a little bit better. Like, they actually, some of the time, not most of the time, like they should be, they actually stayed quiet a little bit, and maybe they're listening to some feedback. And for a lot of us that might be reviewing this, they're listening to some feedback and staying quiet while one is asking an actual question so someone can answer, because they were really letting Mama D actually answer some questions. And Carlissa, of course, like she always does, is brought up Blueface. Now, I could see in this, only for now, this episode, of why she would bring up Blueface, because they're talking about being in your son's business. Now, I could see, only in this episode, she really needs to stop bringing up Blueface. She really needs to stop, because people are really tired of her talking about him. But I understand now, he's facing 4 years in jail, this and that. But, he did that to himself, like it or not. But I do see the sadness in her face. She does start crying. She's talking to Mama D about it. She's asking for advice. Like I said, this is the only episode she should be bringing him up. She really needs to stop bringing him up. We know who you are. We know you're Blueface's mom. We know you're Callie's mom. We know who you are. You don't have to, you're not irrelevant. We get it. But she does give her some good advice, saying that, eventually you need to, stay in his business, but kind of stay out of his business. She gives good advice. Like I said, Mama D is very pretty. I didn't realize how pretty she was. But, so she's giving them advice. What else is she talking about here? She talks about mostly, her growing up and all the stuff that she's been through by being a pimp. I didn't know about that, about her selling drugs, doing all this stuff. Smacking around her hose, that she was saying. I didn't know about all this. Maybe I have to keep, taking like a little rabbit hole down and see what's going on in her life. I think she said she's been to jail, stuff like that. And she said, hey, I had to do what I had to do to raise my kids. They were talking about her being lazy. Tokyo Tony didn't say that, but I think Tia Kemp did. And like I said, she got a little pissed off about that. But, it's... If you're from wherever she's from, and if she felt like she had to do what she had to do, then, you have to do what you got to do. But like I said, this was a really, watch this one. This one was actually a very good episode. I really enjoyed kind of watching Mama D and watching her talk. And, you might not like her, you might like her, you might be indifferent. But if you didn't like her, if you watched this podcast, if you don't know her, you would instantly like her. So this one was actually a pretty good episode to watch with Mama D. You would probably like, like I said, if you didn't know her, you would probably like her right away just watching this episode. She was also talking about on here, taking the trash out, talking about, I guess, all the women that she didn't like with Lil Scrappy. She said, well, sometimes you got to take the trash out. And, okay. But like I said, she gave them all some advice at the end. Like they always ask, their guests, give us some advice. So she gave us some advice and said, believe in yourselves, this and that. And like I said, Carlissa talked about Blueface a little bit at the end and was crying a little bit. And, they were talking about you'll get through this and everything. And it ended out on a good note. They all took the picture at the end together. And like I said, it's actually a good podcast, and she was a good guest. And that's really all I have. So if you guys like Mama D or you don't, like I said, if you don't know her, you'll like this podcast. And if you do know her, you'll like it as well, because it's actually a good episode and she was actually a good guest. I thought it was going to get out of pocket, but it didn't. I thought from the previews there was going to be a whole lot of hollering going on and maybe some fights, but no, it was actually pretty good. Nothing happened. Now I'm waiting for the Jocelyn one. Now I know that one's going to get ratchet and she's going to walk up out of there. So that's what I'm waiting for. But I thought this one was going to be like that too. But no, everything was calm and collected and it was actually pretty good. So go ahead and watch this one. And the next guest and the next episode is going to be Big Frida. So if you don't know who that is, you'll find out. but I know there's going to be some interesting topics. When I saw the preview, they're going to ask some interesting questions. So go ahead and watch that next Sunday on ZEUS, where the Tea Podcast is going to have Big Frida. But on this one was Mama D from Love and Hip Hop. So like, comment, and subscribe if you like. And that was it for me for Alex Adams Values Ratchet Reviews.